Max is buying beers. Max is buying beers.
Welcome into the PHNX Rising podcast. Thank you for those of you joining us, I guess. Anyway, it's a nice Thursday, suppose. I'm not buying beers, regardless what Owen says, regardless what the screen says.
You don't approve of that message.
You
don't approve of the message.
I do not approve of the message that I'm buying that one thing that you think I'm buying. I'm not sure. I'm going to get around your tactics. Anyway. Okay. Oh my gosh! Thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a fun day playing a little FIFA, getting the W there. Let's go. Okay, Charles, no. Okay,
Max is buying beers.
I think this is something that Owen is a big dummy. That I can agree upon. That's nice on screen. We love that. We love that. No, but it was we're going to talk a lot of Rising today, of course. But it was nice seeing a lot of people at the season ticket holder party last night.
Yeah. It's a shame that you didn't buy the promised beers. As Charles is pointing out there, Max is buying beers.
Yeah, I would have a lot of beers to buy then, apparently. That's unfortunate. Okay, get out of here. Man, no, we have a lot to get.
You're buying them tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, dude. This show is already off the rails and it's already just started.
Max,
do you approve?
No. What? No. What are you talking about?
Do you approve of this message?
Do you approve?
Oh my gosh. That you want me to approve that I am buying that thing tomorrow?
You're buying beers?
I might have a beer in me to buy.
For other people?
No, not every single person.
Buying everyone a beer.
Our watch party, by the way, for 4 weeks.
Sold out.
Already sold out. I am buying 70 beers. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's going to be the place to be.
It is going to be the place to be. No, thank you again, everyone, for who did RSVP. It's going to be an absolutely fun time. USA, Vietnam. For those of you who RSVP'd, again, make sure you get there at 5:45, just as a PSA. But anyway, got a lot to get to today. My computer crashed right before this, so while I scramble, where would you like to take us?
To the bar where you're buying beers.
Okay.
But no, I'll tell you what. Let's start off by talking about the fact that we've had this 2-week gap since we've last seen Phoenix Rising out on the pitch.
Sounds about right.
That last game against Miami, we've spoken about it a lot.
Oh, yeah, please no more.
We're not going to go into that anymore. But what would you like to have seen predominantly Phoenix Rising work on over the last 2 weeks?
I think the big thing for me is there's two things. I mean, I think the defense is one of them, but I'm less worried with Kev coming back into the lineup. I think there's definitely some inconsistencies, but I'm not as worried. I think the big thing for me is making sure the team doesn't keep on going back to some lulls offensively. And again, we've spoken about it at length. I think it's a lot better now that Panos has, been on board, fully integrated into the team. But even against Miami, there were signs of, okay, especially in the second half, if you're not scoring early, it's kind of stagnant, it's kind of flat, what is that next gear? That to me is, how do you kickstart something when it's seemingly not there? I would love the team to have worked on that in the last 2 weeks.
I think and look, we've been saying this for months now.
Yeah.
I just want to see something that's just a bit cleaner on times. It's just been, we've seen them always and expecting that mistake's going to come. We saw that against Miami.
Yeah.
And they were sloppy at the back and gave away 2 goals as a result of it. I think that I just want to see them continue to work on those basics, make sure that they are doing those things right. Because at the moment, look, I don't think necessarily the big picture is wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's too many still of those little tiny errors, and it's just working to fine-tune things. A little bit of tactical work may be needed around things like making sure, especially in the back four, if they're playing in a back four, of course. You've got Kev coming back who's been away. You need to make sure that you get him set up correctly. I mean, he said, there are definitely some differences between what he's seen and what they've been putting out when, he's been watching all the games, by the way, from afar. He said it was one game, I believe, that he missed, and that was because Jamaica were playing at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Even when he was in Austria, he was watching them from afar. So I think working to reintegrate him back in, especially if there are tweaks to the tactics still, working to kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page. We saw Daniel King probably being a bit too central on times, and some of that maybe reflects more the roles that he could have had at times during the time when he was playing perhaps as in a back three, almost in that. But if they can try to piece those things together, they can really work hard on those kind of moments, I think they've got some improvement. Now, we did actually hear some from Juan about now as they get into the second half of the season, what is it that they're looking to improve? We heard that from him last night. Let's have a listen.
If we're playing with a back five, I believe that we've been able to control games more. We've been able to sustain more possession, in which we have the opportunity to have the ball more, connect more passes, and control the game the way we want to control games. Now, when we play in a back four, we're not sustaining the same amount of possession now. We're being more direct. We're finding our wingers on wide areas that then become more direct and go to goal more. So as you guys have seen, per consequence, we're creating more chances going forward. So when we play in a back four, I think we have to be better defensively, because when we attack, at times we've been exposed. When we're playing with a back five, we have to make sure then that we can attack and be more influential in the final third. So that's how I'll break it. Depending on what system and what formation we're playing, those are the things that I think we need to improve in each. I'm happy with the back four, how we're attacking. I think we need to improve in the way we're defending. I'm very happy in the way we defend in a back three or a back five, but I want to create more chances when we play that formation.
I mean, I think that's very much it, is that this team has shown a bit of that evolution over the coming weeks, and there have definitely been some highs, but there's definitely been some growing pains with anything like that. Whenever you're, kind of playing those different nuances in formation, in tactics, whether it's formal, whether it's informal, whether, it's specific cues, things like that. Especially, it's even harder when, especially this is going into in the middle of the season, and you are missing, a lot of some key players. I think this is going to be a very pivotal stretch for Rising, and really going off of what Juan's saying, it really is finding that consistency and trying to make the most of, as you're tinkering, you're making sure the results come the way.
Absolutely. And I think we're starting to move from a portion of the season that was more about, yes, building the foundation for what they need to be able to do come the end of the year, working on those kind of things. And we saw that a lot with the way that Juan would talk about how he was very much a process kind of guy, not so much results. It was all about making sure they're doing the right work on the field, off the field, to make sure they get to where they want to be, more so than worrying about individual games. But we're starting to move past that now. We're starting to move into a point whereby this team knows what their goal is. Their goal is a home playoff game in the first round. That means they're going to have to finish in the top four in the Western Conference. They're definitely capable of doing so.
Certainly.
We've seen them manage to get results against those big teams. We've seen them also be, quite frankly, within a few points of those positions. Even now, as we talk about this, they currently sit in 8th. However, they have a game in hand and they are 5 points back. So you win the game in hand, you presume. You are at that stage only 2 points back on San Diego Loyal, sitting in 4th spot. It's very doable. It's incredibly doable.
Certainly. No, I think it's something where we have seen at times this season, Rising has, right, seemingly it's a long season, you're going to control your own destiny. And I think a lot of the times Rising has, I'm not going to say looked for other opponents to drop points, but they've been in positions where, okay, kind of took an unexpected loss here and there. Again, we've referenced Las Vegas Lights, we referenced Miami, and now you're hoping that some of the teams above you struggle and maybe they cough up one. And yes, this season, we've said at length, it's been chaotic, but it's a very dangerous game to play, especially that you're getting into a stretch of the season. We're playing a lot of Western opponents. We're playing a lot of teams that you're familiar with, that this is where it comes down to the wire. And I think it goes back to what you were saying. A lot of the times in this first half of the season, we're very much saying, hey, it's a process. This is going to take time, everything like that. And we want the performance to match the results, but knowing that we'd rather take a good performance in the long term, hoping that the results will come along this way. Well, now is that time. The results have to start coming, and as much as you want to keep building a foundation, which is good, I think they very much have solidified something, very sustainable. The results have to come, because you can't build a formation when you're not only on the onside looking in of home field where you want to host, but you're right now at a spot where the season ended today, it's pretty risky ground.
Yeah. I mean, look, you lose to Colorado Springs, I think, in this upcoming game. It's at home. You never want to be dropping points at home. But losing in a game like this right now, as you think about it, okay, it's another team that's ahead of you at the moment in the standings that you are very much directly competing with at the moment. I think that it's really going to start to cause problems for Rising. Look, and it's not like you can't make these things up. Of course you can. It's really not that difficult when you've got 10 games or so to find this kind of a comeback. But it's making things completely harder for yourself than they have to be. And I think we've seen Rising do that a few times, shoot themselves in the foot against teams like Vegas, against teams like Miami, where Rising should be going in, coming away with 3 points. And right now, look, if they had those 6 points, where are they in the table, Max?
I'm going to be honest, I don't
Give me a guess. Give me a guess.
What? They have 6. I mean, they have 6. I mean, I don't know exactly, but that's got to be top 4.
Fourth.
I would say that's got to be top 4. Yeah.
They'd be 4th.
Yeah.
With all the teams around them having played more games.
Mm-hmm.
They would be 4th place, and they would have it in their own hands to get into 3rd.
Yeah, I mean that's the position you want to be in. I think that's the other thing is they have a lot of ground to make up with, even though there's a lot of the season left to play. Realistically, you're not going to win every match. You're gonna have some results. Ideally, if you're going to drop points, it's going to be teams that are better than you. Yada yada. It doesn't play out that way. So you want to give yourself some breathing room where you're not having to look up at the table and see how things shake out. I really think that this match is pivotal, especially coming off where a lot of other teams haven't had that week off where they didn't have a game and stuff like that. So this is where, hey, it's time to really bounce back and go in with some momentum. Again, other than that Miami game, which it's not a throwaway, sometimes you're just off your game, which is unfortunate. But other than that Miami match, they were riding a very good streak. And I want to make sure that this Miami match wasn't some, turn of things to come, that it was purely just, a blip on the radar and they move and stop putting things in the YouTube chat.
Max is buying beers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I see the chat is having good fun at the moment.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
The people in there, we love you as always. Thank you for making this fun. Thank you for reminding Max that he does indeed owe you beers. And of course, the other classic in there about never trusting a Spurs fan, of course.
Don't like it.
All of those kind of things, all very, very relevant.
It's not. It's whatever. But I do like see a little ad transition in there, so maybe I'll pop to that in a little bit. Oh yeah. No, not now. Don't worry. I'm gonna tune it up when you least expect it.
Max, our average view duration on YouTube would tell you to do an ad read right now.
I don't care.
There we go.
I don't care. I'm not. No, I do it on my terms.
Do an ad read.
Stop it.
Ad man.
You're supposed to be a company man who likes partners.
Oh no!
So don't you want to get the best out of your?
No,
ad reads?
I do this on my time, and I see what Charles is saying, where he says, "Appreciate Max." It's not just because he's buying that thing.
I appreciate you too.
I'm not buying that thing, but if I were buying that thing, I think he's talking about beers. And I would buy them for my friends at Four Peaks. There's your transition. Here you go. No ad man out. No, our friends at Four Peaks, they know that we are doing the thing. Cheers, buddy. We're drinking our T-Shot, a little T-Shot green tea lager. Green tea lager. It is absolutely fantastic. Listen, I mean, honestly, we love a lot of the beers at Four Peaks, but honestly, this might be one of my new favorites. It's something that we tried over the summer a couple months ago, especially at our golf tournament and everything like that. And dude, it's crisp. Like people think, right, green tea and lager, it's like, wait, what are we doing here? But no, it is absolutely crisp. It is delicious, very refreshing, especially on a hot day where it's 150 degrees or something like that. Cool off with a nice green tea lager from our friends or T-Shot from our friends at Four Peaks. Nice green tea lager. Check out our friends at Four Peaks, at Four Peaks Brew, and at Four Peaks Pub on Instagram to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest, what they have going on. And again, for those of you who have RSVP and are joining us tomorrow, look forward to seeing you there. And I hear Owen's going to buy you a beer.
No, I hear that's Max.
Okay. No, you must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. Thank you to our friends at Four Peaks. Get that off the dang screen, producer Jacob. What I will be buying for myself. So our friends at Circle K, they have the most refreshing Polar Pops. You're not going to find that anywhere else. You're not going to find us at that one gas station with the Q in front of it or the other gas station with the C in front of it. I'm not going to even name them because they don't get that clout. We only shout out our friends at Circle K. Over here, it is refreshing. It's delicious. The Polar Pop, get your hands on one, and you know how to do that. It's very, very simple. You text PHNX to 31310. Again, PHNX to 31310. And get a buy one, get one free Polar Pop. It's hot as heck. Again, 150 degrees or so. Boom. You get not one, but two. It's literally texting slang for free. It takes 2 seconds to dang do. If you haven't already, again, text PHNX to 31310. Buy one, get one free Polar Pop. Baby, you do have to draw that responsibly because it's hot as heck.
Yeah. Well, we also got another giveaway, actually. If you text Beer Me to let me look at Max.
No. There was something out on the Twitterverse during the season ticket holder party that somehow got on PHNX_Rising that if you find this man and say he owes you a beer, that's it'll happen. How'd that get there, Owen?
I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
No, I know. I mean, The PHNX Rising official statement, it must have been. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Well, anyway, something that...
You're buying beers, man.
Oh, my gosh. Something that we do...
There are far too many people with access to the Twitter that you can't really blame that on Owen.
There we go. Exactly.
We all have access. I know what the password is.
There we go. See, you can't blame it on me, Max. You can't possibly blame it on me.
I will be blaming it on you.
It's definitely
There is a suitable track record. Anyway, something that we know that is a valid official statement from PHNX _rising is there is a match this Saturday.
There is.
And that opponent, it's definitely one where
Colorado
bit
Springs.
chaotic. Bit chaotic in their own right. Colorado Springs Switchbacks.
Just a little bit.
How their last match was a 5-0 loss?
5-0 loss to San Diego. Now,
Yeah.
look, we need to put that in perspective. And the perspective here is within 15 minutes, they were losing 2-0. So, yeah, that was bad. Romario Williams picks up a red card.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great at all. But yes, that means that Romario Williams, the top goal scorer for Colorado Springs, will miss Saturday's match.
Yeah,
we
massive.
did get to hear what Juan Guerra had to say about Romario Williams missing that game coming up on Saturday. Let's have a listen.
It's important. Listen, yes, 8 goals this season, if I'm not mistaken. When you see their last 3 games, this is the one that is applying the highest. How hard he's pressing up the field it's significant. How high he was pressing versus San Diego. Then he gets a red card. So I also want to see it's not just him missing, is how do their behavior changes. Are they going to still high press, or are they just going to sit in the mid block and make sure that they're compact and they don't get broken down? Because with the absence of him, it makes a difference. Not just how they attack, but also how they defend. And now you know how important it is for us how we attack and how we defend. And we want to make sure that we do both very well. And then we also have to make sure that we read very well what's the other team doing. So his absence is not just in the offensive side, but it's also on the defensive faces for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a player like that who is incredibly influential. Influential. Their leading goal scorer. It's something where
7 assists as well.
It's something where you can't just straight up replace that, even by one man. So it's going to be, I would say, probably by committee approach, and that's going to be very interesting. Again, knowing how chaotic that their scorelines have been, knowing that he definitely is involved in so much of the attack. Are we going to see perhaps an even more chaotic Colorado Springs?
Well, there's no one kind of just like for like you dump in that really fixes this, that meets all the boxes. You're right. You're going to have to look at how you're going to do that by a variety of different things. It can include, as Juan said, maybe changing things up tactically a little bit, maybe being a little bit more secure at the back. Maybe that's something you'd explore anyway. I mean, you just lost 5-0. Right? And to be clear again, yes, did a lot of that come with them down to 10 men? Of course it did. They spent much of that game down to 10 men. Were they also losing 2-0 at the point they went down to 10 men? Yes. Yeah. So when you add all of that stuff together, you can't really just put it down to the simplicity of, well, we were playing with 10 men. They were getting beaten before that point. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see quite what happens. We'll have to see what they decide to come out with. Maybe they do come out a little bit more negatively compared to how they were before. Yeah. Maybe they don't. Maybe they come out and try and catch Rising early doors. They're a team that is, I know we've discussed this quite a bit about how they're very inconsistent week to week, but they'll go one week, they'll score 2, 3, 4 goals, and then they go the next week and they concede 5. It's difficult to know quite exactly what you're going to get out of Colorado Springs really this year.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, even looking at some of their matches, again, I keep on referencing chaos, and it's not for no reason. I mean, some of their matches, right? It's not just that it's a lopsided scoreline. It's just, I don't know, man. It's even just hard to find some of the consistencies. Again, they have a 5-0 loss, a 4-0 win, a 2-0 win, but then sprinkled in there, you have a 4-0 win, a 2-0 loss, a stretch of 5 losses in a row. And yet somehow, some way, they are 5th in the West. And it just goes to show that it really depends on when you get a team on their day. I do like that this match is at home after Rising has had a nice bit of rest period. And we'll see how that shakes out for them.
We will. I think, look, it's... Colorado Springs were a team going into this season. We did not have high expectations, though. We thought that they had gotten significantly worse compared to last year. That hasn't quite transpired that way. And I mean, of course, you're going to expect them to be a bit worse. I mean, they had no Haji Barry. That's huge. Yeah. He left them late last season. That's huge to lose a player of that standing in this league.
Yeah.
We saw what it did to Phoenix Rising to lose Solomon Asante, who was, quite frankly, a little bit more washed up, even though I don't think he was done at all.
No.
And he's still playing in the league now. But he was a little bit more washed up, I think, than Barry was. There's a reason Barry went on to a higher club.
Yeah, certainly.
Realistically, going overseas. So, I don't know. I'm just honestly a little bit surprised still to see them in the position they are in now. I thought maybe that streak of losses was them regressing back to what was probably their level.
Yeah.
And yet, no, they bounced back. They had a good little home stretch there up until that San Diego game.
Yeah.
And it's still just such a mixed bag from them.
Such
a mixed bag.
It really is. And again, this doesn't tell the entire story, but even like the underlying numbers of, okay, right, goal differential for team and the just outside the top half of the table, they have a 0 goal differential, 26 goals scored, 26 conceded. If you're looking at how that shakes up from a goal differential standpoint, that has them in 8th place in the West. It's something where it's due to these really outrageous score lines. Again, they're seemingly losing by a lot or winning by a lot. But I think that's just an area where Rising can exploit and really take advantage out of them, where you're missing your best player. You have a team where they're very chaotic defensively, where they have 26 goals conceded. Again, if you're looking at that from a Western perspective, you're in the bottom half of the West. I think this is a game where if you are a Rising fan, you have a team coming in who, they're used to elevation, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. I think that you have to be absolutely excited, especially right after a season ticket holder party where people are jazzed, you're integrating with the players. The coaching staff was saying as much as, hey, these things matter. Let's get a nice rally going for Saturday's match. I like the team's chances. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? Score predictions?
Chat, let us know as well. I'm going to go...
Don't think about this. You already said what your score prediction is earlier, Max. Just tell us the score prediction. Go on.
I'm building the suspense.
No suspense. You said it was going to be 2-0.
Some people may say that this...
You said it was going to be 2-0.
You ruined it. Some people say that this score prediction is the most dangerous...
That was pretty rude, Owen.
It was. Thank you.
I actually will stick up for Max on
I appreciate you. I don't need this thing yet, but I appreciate it. Some might say...
That's the last time I do anything nice for you, Max.
How are you getting a ride home today? Anyway, some might say that it's the most dangerous score line in the sport. I'm going 2-0. I'll have a name to the goal scores and call me a bit cavalier on this one. I'm going to go Carlos Harvey and Mr. Kev Lambert.
I'm going 3-1 there. I'm joining Reese. I reckon that Danny Trejo, Manuel Arteaga, and Panos Samanakis.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I'm seeing 3-1 to a guy lost to me at FIFA. Devin 2-1. Thomas 4-1. 2-1. Okay.
Thomas to the Musa, more like Husa. That's one thing we haven't really touched on too much. There, James Musa, of course, coming back. He's been in and out of that squad at the moment. In and out quite a lot, but. Yeah, he's been back, kind of battling for his place again lately. I know he's had some injury issues. So
I know, yeah, right. Like you said, he's definitely had some inconsistent playing time. Has played a couple full 90s in recent weeks. Is that someone where, look, we talked about this. Rising has played some ex-players before this year, some with, limited to not really much impact. And then you have Greg Hurst, where he's opening his account against Rising, lest we forget about a match like that. Do you see this as something where Rising should be worried about Musa?
No.
Okay.
No. I think, look, there's a kind of point here where you've got to think about how will he show up and be trying to prove something, not just, of course, to his current team, but to his former team. But I don't know.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, it's something like, I don't know. It does breed a bit of familiarity whenever you play someone on the team who used to be on here. I don't know, man. I think it's something where this is a team where even without all of the players like playing optimal, going in full form, everything like that, I just can't get a read on them. It's a really weird team Rising is playing. Unlike a lot of the other ones where they're either very straightforward good, very straightforward bad. This, in a way, in hindsight, if we're going revisionist history, kind of feels a bit like the Birmingham Legion match. Little bit. I know they were at top of the table. Am I the only one getting that vibes? Just throwing that out there.
I don't know. Look, I will say this. One other thing that we haven't touched on, of course, here is that James Musa, a defensive midfielder, turned into a centre-back by Rick Shantz. Defensive midfielder turned into a centre-back by Juan Guerra, of course, is back in the Valley. Kev got back from the Gold Cup. We did get to chat a little bit to Kev yesterday. His first thoughts on being back in the Valley.
I mean, it feels really good to be back. I miss being here. I didn't miss the heat though, but it welcomed me in a really crazy way. Like the first few days back here has been like terrible, but so far I'm loving it. I'm enjoying being back with my family.
Yeah, it's been terrible. Let's be real.
I mean, honestly, that's like the most honest take that everyone can agree with. Like, unless you're in, I don't know, Flagstaff or Prescott or Prescott, whatever. Unless you live in one of those areas, everyone can absolutely resonate with that. I mean, but no, it's nice to have him back. Again, he was saying something that I know we didn't get it, in that clip, but he's very much a guy who he's been around this team for a while. People know how he leads. Even the players who, haven't been around his leadership, whether he's wearing the captain's armband or not, he's the type of player who his actions, he leads with that. Not saying, hey, he's necessarily does or doesn't need to be that big rah kind of guy. And I think that's what we've seen in his play this year. Incredibly consistent. I know, he was asked of like, hey, you're playing midfield a bit when you're at Jamaica. You played that a while for Rising. How do you feel? And it's very much like he can do that position, but it's going to be interesting how he's utilized and how he integrates back in, because I think the defense could definitely use it. Depends on where he's at in the system.
You would have thought so. Look, I mean, he's someone who, we did speak to him, you're right about that yesterday, and he said that, look, it's nice to be back in midfield. That is a position that he played all his life, right? To him, that's what he is naturally, and it was nice to be able to go back to that. I mean, it was also nice, to be honest, to see Kev back in the Jamaica squad after the previous management kind of falling way down the pecking order and slipping out of that squad. It was nice to see him not only being called up, but also being a pretty important part of that team in the end. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how well he adjusts straight back in. Of course, it's going to be a tough run of games initially with the multiple games in the space of 8 days, but we'll have to see.
No, we'll have to see. I mean, especially when you have a stretch like that within multiple games, multiple days, definitely have to work up with it. I mean, in our case, right, I recommend going to Valley Tap Room. Because Valley Tap Room, right, that's definitely the place to go when you have multiple games going on at once.
Happy at that transition.
Love our friends at Valley Tap Room. Again, be on the lookout. I hear the rumor is Saturday. Going to be a little link on PHNX __rising. Just like you did with Four Peaks, you can reserve your spot at Valley Tap Room. Again, a free RSVP for the World Cup Watch Party USA Netherlands Wednesday at 6 p.m. kickoff. But wait, there's more. You can then stay for the Rising match afterwards. Again, that match ends around 8, the USA match. Rising kicks off at 8. You can just stay for Rising's watch party. And I hear there's a rumor that if the internet is good, as producer Jacob is absolutely staring a hole at me,
Absolutely, maybe.
I might even be able to do a little watch party live from there, and who knows, maybe there will be a shot involved. Oh no, but anyway, check out our friends at Valley Tap Room. Again, it's at Valley Tap Room on Instagram, and off the 202 in Gilbert.
Max Simpson's the name on the tab.
Go for it. See how far that gets you. But yeah, Valley Tap Room. 202 in Gilbert. Again, be there on Wednesday.
Might as well. He just told you to go for it. Maybe
yeah. So yeah, 202 in Gilbert. Be there on Wednesday. Again, check out at PHNX __rising for the link. And it's going to be an awesome time. Also going to be an awesome time. Friends at OG's brands. Friends at OG's. They absolutely love it. No, I'm not. I appreciate
Super chat.
No,
do that for the OGs. Come on, I'm sorry.
I'm not really. No,
it's relevant to the last. It's relevant to the last ad, so we're hopping in with it straight away. Let's get that super chat in.
No,
this is buying beers if we send super chats.
I will not be reading a super chat that is all about me taking shots. No, I don't like this. There's a mob forming.
You're doing it.
There's a mob forming. This is about OG's brands. This is not about the shots. No, how dare you guys? How dare you guys? This is why I don't say anything on this podcast.
I hear Max is buying people OGs.
That is actually part of the World Cup contest. I actually did admit that on air. So yes, OG's brands, they will be part of the winners thing. Again, be buying out on my own accord, because you must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. And if you win, you gotta be 20 years or older to enjoy and win OG's. But you got so many flavors to choose from. You got the pink lemonade, you got the indicas, the sativas, the creams, the fruits, the RSOs, everything like that is just so dang good. You can find them at so many of your local dispensaries. Check out ogsbrands.com to find them, or on Instagram at OG's brands. And they're freaking delicious. Longtime partner. Absolutely love them. Shout out our friends there. They really are really, really good people. Many people in the chat have actually come up to me and they're like, yeah, I love OGs. And I'm like, that makes my day as Adman. Adman. Yeah.
Adman.
Yeah. What we got a couple matches on the docket, so to speak. We do. Looking at this USL fixtures for this coming weekend and all that stuff, anything in particular stand out to you, good sir?
Anything that stands out to me. Let's have a quick look around the league. Well, we should also talk about the fact that yesterday Detroit City put 2 on Loose City.
Makes sense. No, I'm kidding. No. In all seriousness, it really doesn't. This league is nuts.
One Friday night game at 6:00 that you naturally won't be watching because you'll be at our Women's World Cup watch party.
Also, why would you watch anyway?
FC Tulsa playing RGV again.
That's a toughie.
Why would you want to watch?
Where would you want to travel to out of the two of those?
Probably Tulsa because I've never done it.
It's fair.
I mean, I've got both of them coming up.
No disrespect, maybe some disrespect to if anyone who's from other places just doesn't really sound appealing. But no, everyone stop asking me to take those things. It's not going to happen. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, come on. What other matches?
Wants you to do shots.
Anyway, I see on Saturday, Charleston Battery, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That's a big one.
Big game
one
among some of the teams around the top of the East. That'll be interesting to see who comes out on top there. Charleston.
Yep.
Feels like after their really, really, really hot start, a little bit more of a mixed bag. Pittsburgh, I think, have gone in the other direction. They were a little bit more mixed early doors, but they really managed to get themselves on a run more recently.
Yep.
One that'll intrigue me as well from the East, Loose City playing Birmingham Legion. Legion all over the shop this year.
Yeah.
All over the shop. We thought they were going to be good. Now they're not. Maybe they are. Who really knows? They beat Tampa Bay without Neil Collins last weekend. Now Loose City, who just fell to Detroit City. Again, these are teams that should be getting results, but they're not at the moment.
Yeah.
Consistently. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. One to look for here. New Mexico United, Sacramento Republic playing each other. That one big for 2 reasons.
Yep.
One, New Mexico United are just outside the playoff places. If you're a Rising fan, you've got to keep an eye on that. Of course, if you're a Phoenix Rising fan, you want to see them looking tired in that game after their friendly against Sunderland.
Certainly.
I'm not sure why you would choose to play a midweek friendly and play your first team. And they did for part of that game play a lot of them. They also just loaned Josh Joling out as well to Las Vegas Lights until the end of the season. English forward there.
Yeah.
But Sacramento Republic, a team who Rising will be facing on Wednesday.
Yep.
Interesting to see quite what happens there. Meanwhile, let's have a look. Any others? San Antonio, Miami's not that interesting because it's Miami. El Paso, Oakland, maybe. But
the one that's actually intriguing to me, again, like we're going back to the chaos factor, Memphis 901, Orange County. 2 teams that are in vastly different directions. Memphis riding high right before they played Rising, then had 2 matches in a row with a combined aggregate score of 10-0, not in their favor. Meanwhile, Orange County left for absolute dead at the, either bottom or second to bottom from the conference. They have rattled off in their last 10 matches 7 wins and also 1 draw. Like, that is insane. They are now in a legitimate shout to make playoffs. It is honestly kind of staggering what they have done, literally rising from absolutely nowhere. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one at Memphis. We'll see what happens.
Indeed, we will. There's also, of course, other games.
I
see
what you did there. That's a nice little transition. It's
shout out to Gabby Rennie, ASU player, making her World Cup debut in stoppage time today against Norway, New Zealand, coming out 1-0 winners in the opening match. Their first ever win at a men's or women's World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely electric. Like, I think both. This gets dropped on, throughout various PHNX podcasts. Often the term electric. Producer Jacob is definitely a fan of saying it many times. But no, on the real, it's an amazing feeling. The Women's World Cup, super cool, and especially when both the goals were scored. You're watching it, and I mean, on the highlights, I wasn't getting up that early, but it was absolutely incredible to see what it means for these countries and just taking in the atmosphere. Like, dude, there's something to it. I just think that I don't know. Like, you get goosebumps just seeing the reaction of everything like that. Oh my word! Like, ooh. Oh man. But
in Australia as well. Also picking up a 1-0 win to open their campaign.
Course.
So the two host nations with a really good start there to their campaign.
Yes, well, and you know what that means is it means that we do have a bit of movement in our World Cup sweepstakes pool. We got to have a better name for it, but it's something in one of those things. Anyway, it means
Jake
that
Anderson and Mr. Totree.
You found that a lot quicker than I did. Wow.
No, I knew who had those two teams.
Oh, that's fair. I did not know off the top of my head. But yes.
Memory. You know?
It's something.
It's like how he forgets to buy beers all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. No, definitely. I think that's something where Australia, you think, okay, makes a lot of sense. New Zealand, I think to me that was the more pivotal one. Very well worked goal too as well. Some nice end-to-end play. We love that. But no, I think this is going to be really cool where it shakes out. Again, we have a couple fixtures coming up that, if memory serves me correctly, actually about to kick off very soon. Nigeria, let's go, you Super Eagles, baby. That's me and Mikey. Here we go, Nigeria facing Canada. So that's kicking off at 7:30, and then at 10 p.m., the Philippines and Switzerland. And then tomorrow, Spain, Costa Rica kick off at 12:30 a.m. And then, of course, we already know, we've already talked about it, USA. Vietnam, 6 p.m.
I'd like to point out, though, two other things actually about the games that we've already seen.
Yeah,
one, you mentioned Australia do it, and then maybe not a surprise. True, they do not play Sam Kerr today.
Yeah, that was interesting.
For her to not play today, I think, is a big one. Can you, Devin, stop telling me to read the Europa League qualification scores? It's not happening at the moment. Although we'll shout out Haverfordwest County, who went through on penalties over a team from Macedonia. Meanwhile, I'd say when you're looking at all of these, though, you know, we're going to have to mention his name on here. Alexi Lalas.
Oh, why? Why do we got to do that?
His comment today was that seeing these four teams should show the US that there's no one to worry about in this tournament.
I think this is what we said.
None of these teams would give the US a game.
Yeah, no, I think this is what we have said when we were doing our Gold Cup recap in the last the two last shows of the Gold Cup recap, where I think a lot of things are through an American-centric point of view. I understand that, right, you're not American. People who are watching the show aren't American, and even myself as American, I think we have to broaden the horizons of how we talk about soccer, honestly. And even like people coming from who are Americans, or if you're a US fan, there is more than just looking at this of, oh, how does every team stack up to the US? This is what the World Cup is for. This is what the World Cup's for, man.
You're over, you know, explaining this one. We have progressed beyond the need for Alexi Lalas on these shows.
No,
we have progressed beyond the need for Alexi Lalas.
Yes, obviously, but it's. I mean, the thing is, though, it's not just him. Granted, he is the very vocal mouthpiece of it all, but no, it's something where this is not just a him thing. It's very much a lot of people how they talk about it, and even casual fans how they watch the sport. So I think it's something where enjoy the World Cup for what it is. Enjoy the World Cup for what it is.
Right, whereby we all, I know, right, the conversation is had all the time among football fans, where it's you see these broadcasts by Fox and they just go watch in Spanish, right? And I get that, and quite frankly, I do it a good amount of the time. I'm sure you do as well.
It's way more entertaining.
But there's a big difference between what is, we can watch it in Spanish and not really care because we can do our own research, we can do our own analysis of what's going on the field.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, it's not that it's, you know, it wouldn't be helped by having people who are good at analyzing the game and being able to have that on as well. But, you know, for a lot of people who are used to watching football a lot, they can watch it, you get it. You can break it down yourself and do what you can. If you're watching in a language you either do or don't understand, it doesn't really matter. In this case, Thomas is actually on Telemundo. But that's still, you know, that's not the fix here. Because the problem is there are a lot of people who'll be watching these games for the first time who don't know that much, who don't necessarily know the landscape. Even if they know football, they may not know a lot about the women's game.
Yeah.
And have people who just go on as, I'd say, outrage merchants of a sort, who just do annoying stuff for clicks and hate clicks, is not to do justice to this tournament, is not to appropriately introduce people to what they're watching, and is not the right way to go about building a following for this. If you own those rights, what's the point? Does the hate merchant thing, maybe it plays off in the short term, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think a lot of it too is, granted, I get a lot of it is geared towards, hey, generating clicks, generating engagement, all that stuff. I think a lot of the times people legitimately think that the U.S., I would even say both teams, are the end all be all within the soccer landscape, and that's frankly not true.
I love going on Twitter sometimes.
Right.
You see people unironically making comments like, well, the men's team, why aren't they a legitimate candidate to win Copa America? And it's like, I don't know, mate.
No, but
have you engaged your brain a little bit on this one, maybe?
No, and I think, right, like on the men's team, it doesn't really need to be said like they're not a
people
soccer
clearly
superpower.
believe this nonsense.
No, they're not. They're not a soccer superpower. Their track record doesn't speak for themselves. Like again, this is as coming from a U.S. perspective, where I want the U.S. men's and women's to do well, but it's just being realistic. Even on the women's side, listen, U.S. fans, they're hoping for the three-peat, but I think the way that people go about it and saying, "Oh yeah, U.S. has nothing to worry about. Oh yeah, they would never give them challenge." This is the closest the gap has ever been, and I even say gap in air quotes because it's a lot of people's opinion. That gap isn't even really even there. Yes, we said that the U.S. is favored, but it's not by much. This is not an overwhelming slate of victory that you've been looking at 2019 or 2015. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm even now trying to pull myself out of the rabbit hole of like, I don't want to take in this tournament only from a U.S.-centric point of view. Yes, I want to watch my team. Wales is in it. You would want to watch them, and you want to cheer on your team.
Well,
but you
are not in it, unfortunately.
Yes, but you want to be able to take in the beauty of this tournament for other teams for what it is, and I think that's just an opportunity I want us all to not miss. Everyone's going to enjoy it how they want to, but that's something where I really try to be mindful of whenever big international tournaments come around. Yeah,
I'd agree.
That's my soapbox. I'm off. No beers. No buying beers. I'll buy a beer.
He's buying beers.
I'll buy a beer.
Did you just say he's buying beers?
Well, maybe I will buy some beers for our diehards.
4230, Owen. 4230.
Stop it!
Thank
No,
you.
stop asking for clips. No. Well, I will buy some beers for our diehards who are in the chat, because our diehards very important to us. Again, you already got the bonus pick in Monday's draft of the Women's World Cup teams. But there's so much more to being a diehard other than that amazing prizes and one of us possibly buying you beers every now and then.
Max is buying beers.
It is a free shirt every single year of your PHNX membership. It is 20% off merch, 20% off all events. And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, right? I know we're going to be announcing it over the next couple of months, but have a lot of really fun events. Again, if you guys are fans of other Arizona sports teams, Cardinals tailgates, we're doing Suns takeovers, Diamondbacks takeovers, the Diamondbacks takeover next week. Ain't that right, Mr. Producer Jacob, as he yawns because he has a little child and is sleep deprived. But yes, there are a lot of events going on. If you guys are interested in becoming a diehard, it is very, very fun. Check out phnxlocker.com to join all the fun. Also, get access to our Discord, where people are chirping at me for beers on Discord. So there's another avenue for you to chirp at me for free beers.
Max is buying beers. Max is buying beers.
Oh my. It's honestly just a futile effort at this point. Anything else before we get out of here, buddy?
I don't know. What is your last message to the people? Give them a last message.
I look forward to seeing you guys at Four Peaks.
That's the message.
It is the message.
That is the message.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Oh my gosh, Chris in the chat. Okay, there we go. No, but appreciate everyone joining us. Again, you can follow us on PHNX _ rising because
What on earth is that voice?
Dope. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I know you were about to say the line, but the way that you were saying it was so, quite frankly, creepy that I couldn't allow you to continue.
Oh, hey, you can follow us at PHNX
Right, no, cut him off, cut his mic,
rising
cut his mic, cut his mic, cut his
because
mic.
double underscore.
Just cut his mic,
Double
please.
underscore. Double the underscore.
Just stop, Max.
Double the underscore.
You've
Double
ruined it, Max.
the different voice inflections I can
You've
do.
ruined
You
it.
can follow me on Twitter at Simpson. You can follow this person at OJ Evans 18. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at Four Peaks for the USA Vietnam match. Look forward to seeing you guys at home on Saturday. Home match.
They're all coming to your house for beers. Max.
I don't have that much room in my house. You can see you guys on Saturday. Rising's home match against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. A lot of fun events. Very much looking forward to it all. And it's a beautiful game. but it's even more beautiful
When Max
when Owen buys
buys
beers. All right, cool. Cut it.